Manchester City. I don't know if you saw Rodri limping off on, I think this was the
No.
last match. Oh yeah, so Rodri is picked up another another injury,
Well,
which yeah, so I don't know how long he's going to be off for. But do you think that would make a great impact like it did last season if he's out for longer? Because obviously it seems to be struggling with fitness, isn't it? So
mm,
do you think that would have as much of an impact as it did with last season when he was out for the most part of last season?
yeah, as you say, it depends how long it is. Often a player will go off with a knock and then they'll play next week. You think actually it couldn't have been as bad as people thought.
Yeah.
Equally, the opposite can be true. They can have a hamstring or something like that, and it could be 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, I mean, they won, didn't they? 1-0, I think, against Brentford at the weekend,
Yeah.
which is not the score you might expect from them. I think it was 1-0. Um, no, I didn't know he went off injured, but the fact is they have started to win again, and they're obviously getting higher up the table. So I'm sure they'll be up there as the season goes on and will be tough to deal with.
Mm.
I always take the view with any player, really, that uh, teams are not one man teams.
No.
And although you get, as I've said earlier, you get special players who bring something extra, something different, or just the excellent controlling back four defender like Van Dijk and
Mm.
Rodri and Guéhi. They bring something tremendous, but they're not one man teams. And I think,
No.
apart from last weekend, Palace have shown that because we lost Eze, and yet this new young guy, Pino, I won't say um, I would say he's more than making up. I thought it might take him a while to settle in, but he seems to have such a lot to offer. If he's got a
Mm.
problem, it's probably that physically he's quite small, and maybe he won't have the engine to keep going even without a European game. He'll need to be beefed up a bit, I think, to get a bit more strength. So you don't automatically replace a player straight away.
Mm.
But teams are not one man teams. When we used to have Wilf Zaha, and we loved Wilf. He was 100% wholehearted player. And when he was injured or when he was transferred to Man United, and then that didn't work out, he went around the town and then he eventually came back to Palace. And he added such a lot to Crystal Palace. And there was always a sense if Wilf wasn't playing, and these were days where we were more interested under our managers in surviving in the Premier League rather than trying to move up the Premier League. And that's no disrespect to Hodgson and co. They did a great job in keeping Palace there. But
Mm.
when Wilf wasn't playing, we did tend to struggle a bit. He made such a difference because he took half the defence with him, or all the defence, whenever he got the ball, as these better players do. So that made a big difference. So yeah, I don't really think Rodri will make any real difference because they've covered for him for the whole of last year. What we might find is that having been out for a year, okay, he would have eventually got back to his own training and getting his muscles strengthened and all that. But it's still a long time to be out when you haven't
Mm.
been playing this incredibly, incredibly energetic game of professional football. I mean, as I said before, it takes it out of people, even the
Mm.
top athletes. But yeah, I mean, hopefully he'll come back. He'll be all right. And
Mm.
he is that great person to have at the back there because he reads the game and he just gives other players confidence.
It
So
does.
yeah, he's a good man to have. I don't suppose he'll be out for long anyway. But if he is, I think they're on the. I think they're on the road back. Man City, I do. I think they're getting their confidence back, and as we know, confidence is everything in sport, in any sport, really. The
Mm.
belief that you're going to beat the opposition. and I think they're getting that back now, week after week, even if the margins are not quite as wide as they have been in the past on a team like, with all due respect, Brentford. But of course, they've had a managerial change as well, and they seem
Yeah.
to be doing not too bad. A more interesting one might be Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Incidentally, I did a quick check between our podcasts, and Gibbs-White and Anderson play for Forest, of course.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Is Jeff Anderson, but the interesting part of that, I don't want to take your order of things to discuss, but just to
No,
quickly
no.
say that I noticed something I read yesterday,
Right.
that the owner of Forest, the Greek fellow, is now looking at, sounds ridiculous really, but possible replacements in the event of him deciding, or the board, which is really him, I guess, deciding to sack Postecoglou, because they're not doing that well at the moment.
No.
And I think it would be really wrong for him to be sacked if he is sacked quickly. It's not giving him any time. But Forest at the moment are not having the run they were having a year ago, let's face it.
No.
And hopefully he'll get it right, because I tend to feel a bit for him when he's interviewed before or after the matches, and he always seems to be a bit on the defensive. I don't think, from what I've seen, I don't think journalists are being unduly unpleasant to him at all. I mean, they ask the questions that are legitimately asked.
Mm.
But I sort of feel for him again, because I think he is a good manager under all this stuff. I think he is, and he's just probably finding his feet at Forest. And then he no doubt will have heard that, oh well, if I get sacked, they're lining up other people to take over. That's a bit out of order in my view for something like that to be said. But anyway, I've digressed a bit.
No, that's fine. No, I was just you just reminded me of there was a player. I can't remember his name now, but he was on Match of the Day live when they played, and he played under Postecoglou when he was at one of the Scottish clubs.
Scottish teams, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was a manager for one of the Scottish teams. This guy said,
yeah.
and the guy said, right. So when they were struggling, he said Postecoglou called them and he said, right. He said, don't worry, just do as I say and everything will be all right. And he said, well, he did turn their fortunes around at that club. And he said, so he personally still had faith in